Hi, good morning. I'm Andrew Lowsutea, President. Hey, thank you very much for joining me all over the world, our webinar. Now, today is a very important webinar. The reason why is because it talk about memory fading. And is it an early sign of Alzheimer disease? Or what does dementia mean to you? Now, actually, many diabetic patients actually eventually may have a possibility become tremendously with a dementia problem. I'll give you some real actual situation. I have a lot of customer and also my own relatives, mother-in-law, for example, has that issue. She has been diabetic for some time, but as the latest stage of diabetes, because of the insulin issue and also a blockage issue in the brain, so net result, she cannot remember short memories. Now that is really kind of bad in a sense. A lot of people felt if they don't understand, they felt very frustrated because she will ask you the same old questions, like within 5 minutes, the same thing. Like, for example, have you eaten dinner yet? And then a lot of the relatives, if you don't understand it, they said, gee, you are really crazy. Keep asking me the same old question 15, 20 times in the last 15 minutes. Now, actually, it's not her fault at all because she just don't remember. So she would just keep asking. She thought that she didn't ask you. She wanted to ask you the question or some concern care. So end up, you will get this question over again. And many of the diabetic patients will have this dementia. So today, I thought perhaps give you a first, overall understanding what is dementia. And now, matter of fact, there is a new calling now called type 3 diabetic will be Alzheimer disease. So certainly it's still a lot of science behind it. Need to continue to finding out what it is all about. So it's really good to better understand. And more important is you need to actually start getting medical attention early and start getting medication. They usually have a memory pad and things like that to control this situation to further deteriorate. So this is the very good webinar to help you better understanding, wow, will I become eventually dementia and also lead to Alzheimer? Because all those are long-term and will change as we move on. So that's why today's webinar can be really an eye-opener for you. And matter of fact, a lot of people say, you mean I will able to get that? Yes, you can. There's that possibility. That's why we want to make sure that you're aware of it and able to get medical attention as you move on. So let's start our webinar today. And let me start off with this sharing our screen. Go from there. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so today we will talk about how memory fade in early sign of Alzheimer and dementia. And so net result, you understand, wow, you mean if I'm a diabetic, I potentially have this chance to become dementia with the symptom, and then even future can as bad getting to Alzheimer's disease when the brain become or shrink. And I'll show you some picture how the brain look like too. So that way you can have a better understanding. Wow, this is something I need to pay attention to. Plus, I need to get medical attention. So get to your doctor. And also, how do you prevent this early sign that happen? You need to take action and also take medication and make sure that you will continue control that. And actually, I sent already several of these messages to quite a few of my clients who basically the relatives became, starting to develop early sign of dementia, eventually move to Alzheimer. You don't want to get into Alzheimer. You want to make sure continue to prevent that getting worse. So that's the reason why I think it's so important to learn about it, to identify the sign, and then, to able to start, controlling it. So, hey, Edwina, can you give me a one if you can hear, understand me clearly through our webinar? Just give me one in the question and answer or chat. That would be great. Oh, thank you. You hear me very clearly. Okay, so shall we start? So today we'll talk about what is Alzheimer, what is dementia. It's just early sign. What's the early signs all about? And understanding the key factors, the risk factor, why it leads you to this. And so also you have to understand, because when you get that, you're gonna have early sign of the symptoms start coming. You gotta get support, like medical support. Patient need to be supported by the family, make sure understand. Like my mother-in-law keep asking those questions. If the family do not understand, they will say, man, mom, you are so nut. You asked me 15 minutes. You asked me the same question 20, 30 times. And they got very frustrated. But you understand it. Then you say, okay, mom, okay. And just nod a yes, yes. And then so they will get less frustrated. Plus provide the support to her, so she'll feel better. She won't get like the stigma, I'm stupid or something. So basically that's become very helpful. Plus, because she don't know, she was wondering why you keep ignoring me, or why, all that. So we all talk about that today. And then we discover what kind of support you can get to the patient. And at the end of the day, how Lowsutea can help you, and how we early to prevent this all happen. And so that's today's webinar. It's going to be a very good webinar. If you understand, it will be real good. Now, today I saw quite a few number of people that I don't know that come from all over the world. So I thought maybe perhaps we would just spend a couple minutes to catch up. There are 4 stages of diabetes. Everybody pretty much go through that. The first stage, LDL cholesterol goes up, and then it's damaged the B cell, which is the pancreas come out with the B cell to take the sugar to the cells. But when the B cell damage, the sugar doesn't go to the cell, it keeps going circling in the bloodstream. Cholesterol and sugar mix together, the blood becomes thick. Now, net result of that, you have all the thick blood, it start forming plaques everywhere. And that is the problem of all diabetes will start forming. Because when the plaque forms, you have plaques everywhere stuck, and then the less space for the vessel, your blood pressure goes up. Now, if you don't take care of that for years of plugging, that's where you damage all your major organ. Now, if you don't do anything, because there are no sign and symptom that will cause you to do a lot of things, so you very quickly you move to stage 3, which is the pre-diabetic stage. Now, every doctor measure the same thing. They measure the hemoglobin, which is everybody have the hemoglobin carry oxygen. They measure percentage sugar attached to this hemoglobin. If you are 5.7, you're a normal person. If you're over 5.7, 6.4, you are a pre-diabetic. Now, during the pre-diabetic, unfortunately, they have no medication for you. The doctor will tell you, hey, you're a pre-diabetic now. You got to take care of yourself, not to eat a lot of sweet, and change lifestyle, do some exercise. But really, at the end of the day, nobody really understand what to do. So they continue to do the same old lifestyle. In 2 to 3 years, they will basically convert, because the blood sugar will continue goes up. A1C will go from 5.7, 6, and then 6.4, over 6.4, you are diabetic. So what we really can help you is, you can at that time, during the time of pre-diabetic, you can actually drink Lowsutea to prevent the blood sugar continue goes up. Your A1C will continue to maintain within the pre-diabetic range, or you drop down to the healthy range of below 5.7. So this is really what we're trying to do for you guys. So everybody go through the 4 stage. We don't want you to really get into diabetic that will treat you. Matter of fact, I want you to prevent you coming to become pre-diabetic and also a diabetes. That was our objective. So why Lowsutea? Well, first of all, Lowsutea, we have 2 items in there. There's guava leaves, which delay the sugar going to the blood vessels, and there are bitter melon to block the sugar into the cells. Bitter melon increase the insulin. Bitter melon increase the insulin sensitivity, taking sugar into the cells. And so when your cell get the sugar, then you get energy, it get fuel, and so it will function real well. Now, if the excess sugar, really nice is they would take the excess sugar, cholesterol, and the salt, dumped it through the urine. And that urine dumped out, you know what? Your blood sugar go down, your cholesterol go down, and your blood pressure go down, because when salt go down, the blood pressure will go down. And when you have blood pressure go down and detox, so your 3 high all go down. Now, if you can control your 3 high going down, the chances you get really, or the risk of diabetic risk is substantial decrease. So this is really a very good product. Just continue to drink, continue to use. You can able to keep yourself healthy. And that's why we recommend Lowsutea. Now, on the other hand, we are not here just say, okay, drink tea, because we have 5 programs, and this is all the training that we have provided you to drink not only Lowsutea, how to get a proper diet with low carbs, low fat diet, and then you can exercise 8 to 10,000 steps a day. You have weight control, get a BMI from whatever number of high 30, come back down to 23. We have weekly free webinar for you, free now. This is absolutely free for you to listen. And then you can, I will show you how you to track your blood sugar, so you can always maintain below your 614, move your blood sugar A1C all the way down to below 517. So this is the kind of things that we will teach you to do, and that's why we want to make sure you are continue to maintain yourself in good health. And this is the mission we are trying to create. Now, then you say, well, why dementia is so important? Now let's understand, dementia is a neurological condition that which indicate you have some problem. Now, you have different dementia basically. So one of the more common dementia, Alzheimer, which impact your memory, your cognitive, and also your behavior. So it's so important. 80% of people who have dementia will eventually get Alzheimer's disease. So dementia is basically a sign and symptom. So we know you have dementia. So you have this syndrome. So you need to start looking into it and start treating it. And that's why it's so important. Now, there are different dementia, as I mentioned. So there are also all the different conditions that give you dementia. But one of the common ones is 6 to 8% of dementia, which is the part of Alzheimer's disease. Now, another dementia is the vascular dementia, which is mean that you have a stroke. And this is also common because when you have stroke, you restrict blood flow to a certain part of the brain. So net result affect you with the dementia. Also the Lewy body dementia, which is certain protein, which will basically cause problem to your brain cells, and eventually you may end up with like Parkinson's disease and things like that. So these are another type of dementia, but majority of dementia, what we're talking about or focus today, will be Alzheimer's disease, because really at the end of the day now, there's a called type 3 diabetes. A lot of people will use type 3 diabetes part of a so-called Alzheimer's disease, due to from the diabetes and cause type 3 diabetes. Type 3 diabetic is part of the resulting in Alzheimer's disease. Now, certainly in the dementia, there also a thing called frontal dementia, which is in the front part of the brain, on the front of the brain, which will actually cause not only your memory, but also lead to like personality, behavior, and language change. Some of these people even get very bad. They will upset. They will change and swearing at you, things like that. So I saw a lot of elderly people do have that, and the mom used to be very kind, right, very good, but on the hand, somehow her personality totally changed with the dementia, and not swearing her daughter, her maid, everybody. So people got real upset. But we know this is not part of her fault. It's just because of the disease process, okay? And so there's a thing called mixed dementia. And this dementia, including Alzheimer and vascular dementia, meaning the vessel becomes constricted, the certain part of the brain cannot get the blood flow, then you become with Alzheimer and vascular dementia. Now, they also have people who are younger than 65, because dementia is an older person will get it, right? But as long as they are under 65, then the younger onset. So these are also could be a dementia for the younger people, meaning the under 65. So these are type of dementia that is kind of common that you can look at. Then you can able to start identify, and maybe at the end of the day we can start treating early, not get worse, because you don't treat, it just get worse and worse and worse. Now, the thing is, the good thing is, at least right now, dementia develop continuously, slowly, few years down the road, then you get worse and worse and worse. So usually it doesn't come on right away and then you got real worse. It just, you can see that patient will continue like 3 to 4 years, 5 years, and eventually get worse and worse and worse and worse. Now, however, why I make this lecture is because if you early signs seeing within the first 6 months, you can do a lot of things to help you with medication to control that them don't get worse. Now, usually in the early stage, in dementia and the disease process, your memory loss are usually very mild. Like, for example, I don't remember where I put my keys all the time. I ask you one question, but I don't ask you a lot more, but I gotta come back again. So really not very severe. But as time goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse. And you will see them continue repeat the same thing over and over again. Now, as I mentioned, the frontal dementia, even personality change. You can see that earlier they will be a very nice person, and these nice persons suddenly become very bad person, and they will always ask you for things that are unreasonable. They swear at you. And I have a daughter that was crying and said, my mom scold me now all the time. And I don't know what I would treat her so well, and she wasn't like that. And I said, well, the problem is she has this dementia issue, and you got to get her to be treated. It's not, just don't say that, accept her as is. Yes, you can accept her, but she need medication. Now, also, majority of dementia people are 65 and above, okay? And Alzheimer patients also with this age, they're usually older group. Now, certainly they're about 5%. They are younger than that, but it's a little bit less common, okay? So you might ask, okay, what is the cause of early onset of Alzheimer? Why there's such a thing? Now, Alzheimer is really, right now, is still a lot of research and a lot reading. We don't really understand a lot yet, but nevertheless, we know that there's this plaques that tangle up the brain, if you will, and so circulation is not quite there, and the brain start dying off in many parts. So and mainly could be this abnormal protein that is really killing the brain cells. So end up the brain becomes shrink. Now later I'll show you a brain and you see what's the difference on the Alzheimer's disease brain and the regular brain. Because usually when the brain keeps shrinking, you can start losing memory, you can start losing speech, behavior change, all that will occur compared to a normal person. So usually this disease process will last for a number of years, and typically usually lead to death within 9 years or so. So you want to make sure that you want to control in an early stage, like the first year, you got to start treating, you got sign symptoms, you're treating. That's why I thought today this lecture is so important. Start you getting aware. If you Alzheimer's disease with dementia, Alzheimer's disease, you better start looking at this issue and don't let it get worse, okay? Now, as I mentioned, I will show you the brain, right? So this is the Alzheimer brain. You can see that it's all shrink up. You see all these things? And all these area compared, this is a healthy brain. You see the difference? It shrink. And then net result of that, when you shrink the brain damage, is people start losing memory, personality change, everything start changing. So really, at the end of the day, when you have this, you want to continue to maintain your brain like this, not become like that. That's too late, okay? So Now, really, what is the symptom though if you have this happen? Now, usually in the early stage, you just forgot, recent event, things, information. Oh, where's my key? You really just forget here and there, and you might put the key down there. You walk away, and you say, "Where's my key?" And basically, you got to go back and get your key. Now, certainly, a lot of old age people say, "Oh, I was that," but this become really frequent, and plus, you're really losing a typical things that you do. You might forget your medication. You forget, your keys. You forget to eat even sometime, or you put the food there and you walk away. You forgot you got to eat the food, so you got to come back, right? But you don't come back. So all these small symptoms, you better start looking at it and show sign and symptom, document it and show it to the doctor. Plus, you have difficulty to complete very familiar tasks, even things that you're supposed to do all the time. So that's why in all the old folks, the way how I always ask, the relatives, hey, take the pills that you're supposed to take, the name, the time on a wall, so they can look at it and say, oh, I could eat this, eat this, eat this. And the whole sheets of the actual pill are there with a small little package of plastic bag holding it. So they can see, I got ate this pill. If not, they will forget. They will not eat this pill. And this is kind of sad because you don't eat this pill, maybe it's a life-threatening problem for you. I'll give you one example. A client of mine who forgot to take his blood pressure pill about 5 to 6 days, I think, and her blood pressure went up to 300, and she had a stroke. Wow, man, I mean, just forgot about your medication. Then really sad, and she forgot to measure blood pressure too. As time goes, just keep going up, and family forgot about all that. So really, at the end of the day, you really gotta keep doing this because dementia and Alzheimer disease, you gotta keep working with them. The challenge is they always not only forget, they also forget about how to resolve problems, planning, and also confusing of time and place. That's why Alzheimer disease patient or dementia, severe dementia patient, they tend to be very fear. They tend to going out, they don't go out. They isolate themselves. And they will eventually, as time goes and get bad, worse, they're displacing, losing things. They forget money. They will have misjudgment of distant objective. And they will actually see things could be very strange to them because they couldn't remember. They will get lost in the street, for example. And they will comprehend, even looking at things, the image is going to be weird for them. They might think the place is real dark, even outside is really bright. And I say language can be a problem. They can be really bad. They cannot speak properly. They can be scolding you. Because all that, they start withdraw and they start not going out. They don't want to socialize because they fear. And this is very, very common. When that happens, you need help. You need to go out to see the doctor to start getting medication. Even before all this serious thing goes out, you see the sign symptom, you got to start monitoring. If not, it will just get worse. Now, as I mentioned, depends on what type of dementia. You will start seeing behavior change, the mood change. So you have, because all the things that happen to you now, you will start not remember the environmental, you see dark outside, you go out, I don't know where to go. Even before you know where to go, but now you don't. So you're going to have a sign of great anxiety. You're going to feel memory loss. Because of that, you also change your personality. You got upset, angry easily. You got scolding your husband. You're scolding your children. And I see that all the time in my nursing practice, seeing that this person was very nice and very kind a few years ago. But now we see her because of Alzheimer's disease and with dementia, severe dementia, her total personality will change. And then now you got to really understand, oh, this person, yes, is not because of fault. It's just because of the fact that she has this disease. So all this inappropriate behavior, even some of these patients that I know of, she started hitting her family, hitting her husband. And also, matter of fact, one of my neighbors is the issue. The wife got changed so much, started hitting the husband. The husband ended up actually go to hospital because hitting him so hard. They also decrease interest of other people, emotion. They start hiding thing. They thought someone would steal the thing. Matter of fact, one of my patients keep accusing her maid stealing her money. But actually, she is not stealing her money. Just that this is the kind of imagination that is not real. It came out, and they will have difficult sleeping, and the whole personality changed. So you need medical help. It's really sad because the whole family got screwed up because the daughter thought that, wow, my mom is really hate me now. The mom does not hate her. It's just a disease process. The maid was saying that, wow, they accused me of stealing her money. I never done this. They feel so upset. But really, at the end of the day, she did not steal her money. It's just that she thought she threw her money because of emotional change and that. All that will create this image out and all that. So this is something that, they need actually medical help. Now, how did I know that she had Alzheimer and dementia? Now, certainly you need physical examination. Usually, that's why I said if the behavior change, it's very good to document what kind of behavior change. For example, she started losing her key. How many times lose her key? How many times she asked questions? How many times she forgot to eat? How many times she forgot her medication? And then in the physical examination, you can actually give it to the doctor. Oh, my mom is doing this now. She is this condition. Now, this document have to be dated and time and things like that. How many times happened? Because you will compare this document of 3 months later, 5 months later, 6 months later, after you seeing that doctor and also maybe medication. So you see how this is it change worse or progression worse, or you will continue to get it better or stay the same. So net result, you're going to have all kind of lab tests, identify the condition, why it caused dementia. Now, it could be diabetes, but it could be other things. It could be tumor also, right? It could be obstruction. So all these things has to be physical examination. Now, certainly there's a neurological, meaning examine your brain. During this neurological examination, they will talk about, okay, do you have a stroke? Do you have Parkinson's disease? Do you have a brain tumor, as I mentioned? And it will be all the things they will evaluate why you become dementia and why you have maybe is beyond just dementia alone. Why is it really an Alzheimer's disease? All that will be put together and assess your case, okay? Now, certainly, diagnosing Alzheimer's disease, you need to have some kind of cognitive test, meaning that, okay, they would talk about behavior changes, so test about memory, behavior test, thinking, problem solving. They might get a little blocks to tell you build a house. I mean, a block house, a play group, and exactly how you resolve some problem, and then whether there are any things that show that you can able to make sure that doing some tests to detect a cognitive, putting a square in a hole, that kind of stuff, that will you have that. And then really at the end of the day, they want to see that can you really resolve problems besides language, talking and so forth. So there's all kind of things to test Alzheimer's disease. And that test may be also progressive. In other words, you may not test once. You say you identify your early sign Alzheimer's disease. They will continue to test as you go on, see how you're improving, the medication improving, all that thing will come along. So it's going to be a long-term thing, by the way. It's not going to be short-term that you can able to right away get treated and get well. Now, certainly they would talk about brain image. In other words, they would take an MRI, a CT. Remember the brain talk about? So they want to see that, is there a chance to see really you have a tumor there, or you're going to have actually really just a shrinking of the brain, any structural change. and is there hematoma, like you hurt your head, you have a trauma, damage. All these things we'll look into, because maybe with that is not just the Alzheimer disease, because maybe it's not the Alzheimer, it was because the tumor created a problem for you. So those are the things that they will test, and these tests are continuous. So it is a long-term treatment. It's not like a very short-term treatment. So with that though, we need to understand why I have this risk to have Alzheimer's disease. Certainly age is one thing. For sure, you are 65 and up, the chances you have Alzheimer's disease is there. Secondly, and this is why I'm really looking at this so important, you have a long-term hypertension, blood sugar, high LDL. All these three high conditions will lead you to have a risk Alzheimer's disease, because now they all talk about type 3 diabetic. It's a form of diabetic associated with Alzheimer's disease. So how does it work is because the type 3 diabetic is that the neurons, the brain nerve, okay, of the brain, they can't respond to the insulin. And that result, as you know, the insulin is the basic vehicle to bring sugar, food into your brain, right? When that's not happening, you will actually eventually create problem for your memory, your learning ability, because not enough food to get into your brain cells, right? So net result. So because of that, they now classify this as a type 3 diabetic, basically to Alzheimer's disease. That's the reason why we'll keep driving you guys and drink Lowsutea to help you to prevent your high blood sugar, high blood LDL cholesterol, prevent your high blood pressure. All that become an essential lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. Now, certainly, you're overweight and obese, also give you a high chance of getting Alzheimer's disease. Also, brain injury, for example, if you hit your brain, for example, smoking, excessive alcohol. I'm a person that I don't move much. I'm a potato person, TV. I just keep watching TV all day long. I'm chubby. That are good risk factor for Alzheimer. Plus, I don't socialize. I isolate myself all the time. That's also good because you have no stimulation with outside world. You need to go outside and meet friends, talking to friends that decrease that. You need to increase the socialization to decrease the chance of Alzheimer. Plus, a lot of these people get very depressed, tend to be, I stay home, I don't want to do anything. If you have high depression, the chances of that is an issue. Now, understand the risk factor now. So what is the early detection then? So really, at the end of the day, you have to look at behavior, memories, family can chart it. So you really get to know exactly what happened to you. Now, a lot of times you might not be able to write it because you will try, but it's best to have your family, your friend, to help you to document that. And you have to start treatment as soon as you can. And you have to basically gain more information, understanding what happened to you, looking at the doctor, asking the doctor, getting people who are close to you, can give you the support to write down your behavior, to basically to also document what happened to you in this month, next month, and on and on. So you can kind of chart all the things you have. When you have that document, you can prepare, compare this month to next month. So net result, you know what happened to you now. Now, with the doctor office, you really also show to the doctor, you say, hey, my mom is this now, and this and this. So the doctor can gauge, give you medication, and help you to basically stop or basically has slowed down the progression of Alzheimer's disease. Now, you have to also reduce the stigma of people, because more stigma of say, oh, you are like that. Now, the family, if you get putting this, the patient become very concerned, start, oh no, I'm like this. she will lose confidence. She will be depressed. So cheer her out. Say, we know the problem. Don't worry. Understand where you are at. Rather than, some family even scolding the mom. You're like that. But really, it's not her fault, because really, at the end of the day, it's just her disease. And you have to help help her to understand, help yourself to understand. The key here is your objective is maximize your quality of life. Take her out. Take her to see more things. Get her friends together. And basically, you have to have drugs that, taking care of drugs that taking her to slow down disease, get to the doctor office. Certainly, you also got to plan for the future. If you get worse, what do you do? And then you need to, the more important, I would think, is more friends, more relatives, and more people around her supporting her. Let her see her all the time. With all this social stimulation, that become helpful. If she's a church person, take her to church. Don't let her isolate in the home, because I've seen family I felt embarrassed for my mom, so I don't take her out anymore. Don't do that. Take her out. Let her see the world. Have meeting friends. Now, certainly many of these family now, because the age of friends are disappearing. So these are things that you need to work out, okay? Now, really more important to prevent early the risk, as I mentioned, is lower your 3 high, meaning your high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high pressure, and you have to maintain better weight. In other words, you're obese, BMI is over 30, dropping down 23. Quit smoking, not much alcohol drinking. You have to have a lot of good sleep. In other words, every day you should have at least 7 to 8 hours, not sleep 4 hours. You have to eat very good food, nutritional food, not starch. You have to keep eating the food like fresh vegetable. Half of them is greens. 1/4 is fish, like cod, salmon. 1/4 is red rice and brown rice or beans. And then you have good diet, and you have to drink Lowsutea every day, 6 to 8 cups. So you can make sure maintain your blood sugar continue to be lower than 6.4, your A1C. And your daily blood sugar also below 120 every day. So that way you can, every day can be good blood sugar levels. And A1C has to be below 6.4. You have to manage your stress. You have to stay hydrated. Now, a lot of old folks don't drink water, so they don't get hydrated. So the blood becomes very thick. Plus, you have to reduce all the sugar intake. No more bubble teas, no more Coca-Cola, because those are the stuff that will increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease because the blood sugar goes up. Now, very important, as mentioned, you have to engage regular activities like walking. You might not be able to jog, but at least you can walk, cycling, swimming. If you cannot do that at home, do it outside, you can do it at home. Get a step master every day or a bicycle, so you can able to do some of those activities in case you say, well, outside is too snowy or too hot. You can still do that at home. You have to really engage activities for stimulate your brain. Like in Hong Kong, people play mahjong. In US also, you can play mahjong. Or you have puzzle, working with the children, get puzzle, reading, learning new skills, socialize with a friend. Maintain your cognitive function is so important. And you have to socialize activities. You have to connect with friends, relatives. And that is even more important because people visit you, you will able to talk, interaction, and you get emotional support. And then you will not able to feel isolated or depressed. And that even more important to help you to prevent you getting worse. Now, last but not least, Lowsutea will definitely help you to lower your blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. And that will lower your 3 high. And if you lower your blood sugar, blood pressure, and blood cholesterol, the chance of your Alzheimer's disease will be much lower. So really, at the end of the day, when you think about it, Alzheimer is a disease, is a disease, is a form of dementia. And you will start off the dementia sign and symptom. Eventually, it will get down to understand, wow, I have Alzheimer's disease. And you got to identify that early so you can treat. treat to stop that become less, progression. Because Alzheimer, once you start it, it doesn't get well. You just get able to stop it to lower, prevent it become serious progression. And you need to understand if I have dementia, you will start seeing a change of memory loss from gradual, your cognitive function is continued decline. So let's document all those things. Month 1, how it look like, month 2, how it look like, and get your family to do that. And because dementia, you will start affected all these memory, cognitive function, could be even behavior, the way how you think, the verbal vocabulary you start changing. You might be upset very easily, scolding your children. It can be that way. But you need to start document this. The children has to start documenting a relative, whoever. And so net result, you can able to understand where you are at in dementia. Now, as you know, the condition will get worse and worse and worse eventually. But the key here is you want to make sure continue giving all these activity to improve your quality of life. If you don't, it will affect your quality of life tremendously. And you need to have medical intervention start early, understand the symptom, and improve the quality of life. And you have to understand, identify what is your issue at this stage, and get the medical people to help you to plan for this future. It get worse, what do you do? Because you really have to start understanding that. If the patient is still living at home, would it make sense in the future, we need to get him or her a nursing home to take care. Or you have a maid service, you need to able to help them to provide some maid service to watch them all the time. And this is really at the end of the day, help you to continue plan to, if the disease process gets worse, how can you help him to get a better life, better quality of life, and also help them to more social connection, and basic to help them to improve quality of life. Last but not least, very important, drink Lowsutea, because you want to start drinking Lowsutea to lower your 3 high, manage your high blood sugar, your bad cholesterol, and the high blood pressure, so you might not get into dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So today, this is our webinar. I hope that you understand it in a very simple, understanding what is dementia, which is a sign, a symptom, which included as a disease with Alzheimer, and other dementia could be due to not necessarily Alzheimer disease, could be a tumor, need you really medical intervention to fix. Most important, you have to document the behavior change, your memory change, so doctor can see what happened. And you will start medication early and drink Lowsutea early to prevent even you get into that stage. I think that will be even better, isn't it? Okay, if you need a question, write to me, andy@wahfong.com, ANDYWAHFONG.com. A lot of people do write, and I'll get back to you so I can understand what's the problem. Or you can WhatsApp me, 6792-8891. WhatsApp me at 6792-8891. And hope that you will understand, at least to make that prevention, and make sure that you have early planning. That's the more important. Understand that if you have Alzheimer, medical team work with you, and you plan along the way to prevent things to become more severe and serious. Thank you very much for participation. I appreciate the time. Listen to my webinar, and I hope that this helped you to help some friends and relatives if they do come into dementia, eventually Alzheimer's disease or other disease, and hopefully that will help some understanding and help you to start getting support. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.